Can you explain just at a very high level what reconciliation is in general, and why do we even have that process in Congress?
Reconciliation, as a general term, it means what it says. The idea is to reconcile the differences between law and what the budget resolution is saying. So the budget resolution sets out the numbers for how we think our finances should be. That's how much we should spend on things, how much we should add to the debt, how much we should take revenue. And the idea of a reconciliation bill is this is the way that we enact those laws that get us there. The issue is that, like you said, we have not really been using it for that. Reconciliation came about in the 1970s and 1980s as a result of the fact that we wanted, like, the filibuster was becoming more of a thing in the Senate. You needed 60 votes to pass controversial bills. And so they decided that, okay, we need to put in a mechanism that says that we can just pass these bills by a majority. And generally, they'll be deficit reduction bills. They won't be used to pass huge policy, but we want to use them to get our finances in order. The problem is that Congress loves to make rules for itself and then figure out how to play games around them. The filibuster is still very much in place, and it still prevents a huge impediment to passing either party's desired policies. And so what they have started doing, and it's really kicked off mostly in the early 2000s, but policies have been enacted before that, which is mostly the early 2000s when they started. The Bush administration wanted to do a huge tax cut. We had a projected surpluses. The Bush administration said, let's do a tax cut, but they didn't have 60 votes to get there. They were able to get some Republicans on board, or most Republicans on board, and some Democrats on board, but they couldn't reach 60. So they decided to do, because you can change things related to the budget, they just tried to change it through reconciliation. They did that in 2001 first, and they did that in 2003 again to lower taxes. And basically that opened up Pandora's box. It was like, okay, well, now if we can't get our policies through with the 60 vote threshold, then we can do them in the Senate through reconciliation. The next significant time it was used was during the Affordable Care Act in 2010. There was a lot of political dynamics going on at the time. Democrats had 60 votes, and then they had 59 votes. So it was really difficult for them to pass what they wanted the healthcare law to actually be. And so what they ended up doing was using reconciliation kind of as like a cleanup bill. They passed a larger bill through the Senate first when they had 60 votes, and then Senator Kennedy passed away. And well, he had passed away before that, but his replacement was a Republican. So they needed to figure out what they wanted to do to make the changes that's necessary to pass the bill in general through the House. So they used reconciliation to kind of clean that up. So ever since then, the idea has been, okay, we'll use reconciliation. In 2015, when Republicans took over the Senate and the House, they used reconciliation to show that you could repeal the Affordable Care Act that way as well. They tried actually doing this in 2017 when President Trump took office, and they had the opportunity to enact what they wanted. They weren't able to do so because the politics weren't there. And then at the end of 2017, they did end up finally being able to use reconciliation, and they used it for their large tax cut bill. And then the more recent one that we actually saw this in early 2021, Democrats used it to pass the American Rescue Plan Act. And they have the Build Back Better Act that is the president's agenda that they're trying to pass through reconciliation.